Welcome to episode 2 of season 2 of On Cue, a slightly over-rhymed way of introducing you to 2 new films by 2 choreographers with whom we've had long and varied relationships over the years. The first, Israeli-English choreographer, filmmaker Rachel Erdos. Rachel has been a part of our world since 2009, and in fact we've staged 3 of her works for the stage around the world over the years. One of those, Alma, which was the first work we did of hers, had a chance to become one of our signature films when we made it in Shanghai on an earlier tour. Tonight we premiere Grey, a film she made for us during the coronavirus. Co-artistic director Catherine Pilkington had a chance to catch up with Rachel from her home in Tel Aviv and get a little bit of an insight into the making and ideas of Grey. Here's Catherine and Rachel.
Hi, Rachel. It's nice to see you. What is it you would like our audience to know about Grey?
When you watch the video, you clearly see a guy stuck in his house, exploring what that means. So it became very relevant to what's going on at the moment. It's funny because I started not on that track. I didn't want to make another video of somebody dancing in their living room, because there's been so many of those that have been done so excellently. And then it ended up that that's what we're living at the moment. So it became very difficult to do something else. But I feel that the animation gave a whole other level to that. It could look at what the things you don't see in your house or your thoughts or where they can take you. In a positive and negative way. And it became grey, not black, not white, grey matter, grey, the colour in between, the walls of his house were grey. It grew, it had its own life, it had some sort of perspective about our relationship with ourselves and the outside world.
Because you couldn't be in the same physical space, what were some of the ways that you jumped into this process with Jamal?
I mean, it's funny, I created the whole film sitting on my couch in the middle of the night, basically, because I'm in Tel Aviv, so we have a huge time difference. So also with a baby, who most of the time was the rehearsal director, would wake up exactly as we started and would sit and be obsessed by Jamal. So we very much started by asking questions. He wrote some stuff down. We did improvisation in talking and in movement. As you know, that I like to get to know the dancers really well. I like to find their connection to the themes that we're addressing. It's really important for me that you see the person and that they feel they're being represented both in their movement material and as a personality in the work. And I hope I managed to do this with Jamal, even though we've never met. The research was definitely about freedom. Do we free now? And many things came up in that. I discussed with Jamal about what it's like being a Black man living in America at the moment. It was very much was the background of what was going on. We worked for 2 weeks intensively. The first week he was in New York and we actually rehearsed on the roof of a building. So there was something about sky and freedom, and that also played a role. And then the second week he actually worked in the room that you can see in Grey. It became part of it. We then couldn't separate the movement material from the location. And so that's something different than the way you work. We didn't create it in the studio and then place it in the location. The location was a huge part of it. I only ever saw the material through the camera. I saw it the way in the end film was going to be. And then ultimately what happened is we started the research, and then I gave the material to somebody to edit, who then gave it to the animator. So there was lots of letting go in this process. As an artist, there was something really nice about that I was involved in every step, but I wasn't control freaking it all. I had to let go and just see what happens.
To me, everything just seemed to meld so easily.
Both of us checked in each other along the way, but we definitely made this is the room. This is the shot, the main shot that we're going to go for. These are the colors. It's going to be pencil. These are the ideas. This is the frame. It's going to close in. Okay, boom, let's both go do our stuff.
Is it inspiring you to make some other work?
I did find this project much more inspiring and fulfilling than I thought it would be. It has inspired me to do more. First of all, I'd love to make other videos, especially with animation.
Right.
But yeah, I think sometimes these restrictions give you, once you push through them, they give you artistic freedom.
We'll be back just a little bit later in the program with our other world premiere by Philip Baraoidan. But first, we picked up on our first episode with Boris Willis and Technique, and his look at the Unreal Engine, a remarkable digital tool for many, many different things in the internet and digital and game-making world. But Boris has been using it as a choreographic tool. Here's that second part of our look at the Unreal Engine with Boris Willis and Technique.
Hi, I'm Boris Willis, and this is Technique. In this episode, we're going to continue to look at the Unreal Engine. In the last episode, I showed you how to go to unrealengine.com, download the software, create an account, open it up, and move around using WASD and the mouse key. Today, I'm going to show you some other tricks and tips on how to use Unreal Engine. And today we're going to focus on making a virtual theater and adding a few lights. So once again, you'll need to go to the Unreal Engine launcher and launch Unreal Engine. It's going to ask you if you want to create a new project, and you just say a game project. And then in the project settings, you're basically going to leave them at default, making sure that you do check Add Starter Content. After a couple of minutes, the engine will open up. Now, once the engine opens up, it'll take you to the template level, but we don't ever want to use that. We're going to go to File, New, and we're going to select a new project. We're going to use the default template for that. On the left side is the Place Actors tab. We're going to go to the Geometry tab. We're going to grab a box, click on it, and drag it into our world, placing it on top of the floor that's already there. So with our box, we're going to select it, and then on the right side, we're going to take a look at the brush settings. We're going to make the X and the Y 2048, and we're going to make the Z 1024. Then we're going to check the hollow box. So now we're going to grab the floor, and we're going to put it on the bottom of the box, the ground floor of the box essentially. And then we're going to grab our scale tool. You can hit the space bar a couple of times until you get the boxes on each end of the widget. And then you can just drag it to the side to fill out the entire bottom of our little black box theater here. In the content browser, we go to Starter Content Architecture, and we drag in a pillar. Select the pillar, and then we grab the scale tool again, and we're going to make our wings. So we drag it out to the side, and we add our wings, and then we use the Alt, click, and drag, and then we can make copies, or we can also right-click and say duplicate, and we can duplicate our newly widened flats for our level. So then we're going to do the same thing with our chairs. So we're going to go to Starter Content, Chair, and then we're going to drag a chair in. Then we can do the Alt left click and drag on one of the gizmo handles, and then we can make copies. And then we can keep making copies and keep making copies until we get our theater all set up. Now that we've got our chairs and we've got our stage and we've got our flats on our stage, we're going to add a couple of lights. So to do that, we go over to the Lights tab, and then we grab a spotlight. Now we drag that in, and then in the Details panel on the right side, we can click and change the color of the light. So all we have to do to change the color is double click on the white bar, which is the color swatch, and that gives us our color wheel, and we can change the color to anything that we want, close it up, and then once we've done that, we can check to see that our player start is inside of the box. That's what we want to do. Otherwise, your player will just be outside the box and fall forever. And then we can hit the play button in the top right on top of the toolbar. Now, once we hit play, we can run around inside the level. On UnrealEngine.com, you'll find tons and tons of materials to help you learn how to use Unreal Engine in a much more detailed way. So I encourage you to go there and check out those free tutorials. I'm Boris Willis, and this has been Technique.
Time now to turn our attention to the other world premiere in tonight's program. This by Philip Baraoidan, Shine and Shimmer. Philip is a kindred spirit in so many ways and one of our lead voices in our Broadway Bound program. And when we asked him about the possibility of making a film, it wasn't hard to see where he might take his art. Our colleague Tara Compton had a chance to chat with Philip and explore the ideas that he had around Shine and Shimmer. So here's Philip, here's Tara, and then here's Shine and Shimmer.
My piece, Shine and Shimmer, is just like an awakening of bringing some jazz into our vocabulary, into our daily lives. And the piece centers around a group of dancers as they travel through COVIDian times. Where we start the video is at the end of COVID, where things are dark and dreary. And you see that there's like a hint of light, but you don't know how far it'll travel. And then as you travel back in time, we get to pre-COVIDian times where things are jolly, there are no cares, things are bright. So I thought going backwards would have been something fun and different. And we just got to bring such fun jazz dancing to the project.
I also love the term COVIDian. I haven't heard that yet.
Is that not the right term?
No, it sounds like the right term to me.
We're making up words here.
The thing that stood out really nicely is all the beautiful locations. Can you tell me about how you thought of those or found them when you guys were filming?
My plan was to have all the dancers' stories intertwine with each other. So the thought is that they would actually be within a city center like Washington, D.C. I was curious to see if there was like a spot or a location where everyone could meet up. And the first thought was Washington, D.C., because, you know, that's our home base, except for the fact that everything seemed very dark or like didn't have vibrance or color to it, which is something I was definitely looking for. And so there's a little spot near some of us dancers, Old Town Alexandria, where the roads are cobblestone, there are fountains, it's right off of the Potomac River. And you'll see it looks like many different places, but it really is like a small area of Old Town that we filmed at. But there's so many curiosities and like different parts of the city that it kind of framed a whole city.
I know you did start a lot of your rehearsal process digitally. So what was that like? And then how did it translate or shift to a more familiar setting of being in person?
So it was an experience only because there was some partnering in the video, which the dancers quarantined before that, but that was something that you can't really rehearse virtually. And I couldn't be like, this is where you place your hand, or this is what I would like. So just different ways of teaching and coaching and trying to rehearse were definitely challenges.
What do you want the audience to take away?
So I think that if anything to take away is just things will be okay, but to acknowledge and to accept that the things that are out of our control are okay, and just to really appreciate the sun hitting your face every day, or being able to take a walk with fresh air, or just for us movers and shakers and groovers, just the appreciation that we get to move, shake, and groove.
seems completely perfect to be able to share that particular film with you on this particular weekend, invoking in so many ways through movement the notion of the better angels of our nature. Lincoln's phrase from his first inaugural, embraced and embodied again by the president-elect in his speech of Saturday night. A time to turn to the better angels of our nature. That's our program for tonight. A pleasure to share it with you, and we look forward to seeing you again in a couple of weeks. In the meantime, stay well, stay safe. I hope your families are well. I hope you are well. Thanks very much for watching. Good night.
All right, Philip. So now we are in our rapid fire question section. We have 60 seconds, 8 questions, and away we go.
I'm going to do some rapid fire questions. Favorite ice cream?
Vanilla with some sort of biscuit or chocolate chip.
Favorite ice cream flavor?
Butter pecan.
What artist are you currently streaming right now?
Noah Cyrus, which is Miley's little sister.
Yeah, I think so.
Favorite other choreographer or company or dancer?
Hard one. I would say Peeping Tom, company from Belgium, I think they are. That's one of the most inspiring things that I've seen recently.
Favorite cocktail?
Ooh, a blood orange with elderflower liqueur and gin. Blood orange.
Okay.
Favorite cocktail?
Ooh, amaretto sour.
3 words to describe your dance or choreographic style.
Ooh, spunky, energetic, and spazzy.
I love the last one.
How do you describe your dance style?
Human, with some type of connectivity.
If you could be any animal, what could you be?
Oh, an ostrich. I feather plumes.
If you could be any animal, what would you be?
I don't know, today I'd like to be something that flies. Maybe it's connected to the current situation.
Morning or night person?
Definitely a night person.
Are you a morning or a night person?
I'm whatever you need me to be.
Why do you dance?
What?
Why do you dance?
Oh, why do I dance? Just because it's great exercise and I can release emotions.
Why dance?
When you do it, there's nothing like the sense of moving and feeling your body move. When you watch it, good dance, I feel, can touch you in a way that lots of other things can't, or can add to many other great medium and art forms that touch you in certain ways. And when it's good, it's the best thing ever, I think.
Favorite musical?
Oh, okay. If we're listening, currently 9 because of vocals, but gold standards 925, especially with the 12 o'clock number at the very end. And there's a
It's rapid fire, Philip.
oh